times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Come on, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Mark Stevenson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you indeed. Very kind. And a welcome to you all here in the 81 Suite here in the heart of Mansfield. I'm going to change the mic. That one might work a bit better. In fact, it does. We'll change that one for the chairman or Carolyn when they both come on. Ladies and gentlemen, very shortly indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, on a serious note, 12 months ago, the Stags owner and chairman invested heavily, leading to the football world for seeing Stags as title challengers. However, the promotion fire burned out like a smouldering wick, and the campaign also saw a manager resign. In those 12 months, of course, the chairman and chief executive were given many plaudits for their dignity and poise during that campaign, and they are here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with us for the first time to look back on the season with frankness and look ahead to the new campaign with renewed hope. With much to ponder, answer and reveal, ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome please the Radfords? Chairman, Carolyn, good evening.
Good evening.
I think the microphone gremlins have sorted themselves out. How are you? I've not spoken to you in this way for quite some time.
Well, very good. I mean, disappointed not to get promoted. I think as we all are, but you know, it's crack on with it and get on with the season, get on with our next campaign.
Carolyn, how are you?
I'm alright, we just had a bit of a domestic. When you work together, live together, you're married to each other, so we've just had a certain player in with his agent just before we were doing this.
It was like a scene from Fools and Horses. And she was like,
which episode? Not the one with the blow-up dolls, I hope. No, but I'm sure there was a domestic over the last 12 months as well, because it was a season of both highs and lows. Let's take a look, shall we, ladies and gentlemen, at those defining moments in the last 12 months of the Stags campaign. Roll the VT.
The second one I was just about to go for an header again, but I was a bit too far out, so I just tried something a little bit different.
first one I scored obviously was an equaliser, and everyone always dreams of getting a winner in games, and that was it.
Mansfield Town are on the lookout for a new manager after Steve Evans and Paul Rayner resigned last night.
Mansfield Town have announced former Swindon boss David Flitcroft as their new manager. He continues his partnership with former Stags defender Ben Futcher, who joins as his assistant.
The appreciation, the warmth that I felt, and the respect that was shown, so delighted to be here.
We will go again together. Tonight signals the end of the season, but tomorrow heralds a new dawn. Right now, our club is in a time of transformation, and we are rising to every challenge.
Your owners, the Radfords. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be answering your questions in the second half. Different to the usual traditional format of an evening with, Stuart will be coming around with a roving mic, should that work, in the second period. But for, let's just unravel the season, because it was a season which I said at the intro, or attempted to say, which started with great optimism. And to sit here now, it really should have been a promotion gallop, shouldn't it?
Well, I'd like to think so, Steve. I mean, I think we probably over-egged our campaign a little bit, and there was a massive buzz. There's a buzz this year, but there was a massive buzz last year. We'd put together the most expensive squad. I think we'd already done 10 signings by now, and so the expectation was there. It was the bookies' favourites, and I think that left us to be shot at by all the other clubs. And every game became a really hard game. Every game became a battle, because every club wanted to beat Mansfield Town. And I think that was we created a rod for our own back, being such favourites as we were.
And I think most people would say in this room that the season was disappointing. That's the key word. But for you two, Carolyn, is that putting it too lightly?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody in here we were all gutted, and it actually takes quite a period of time. I'd say. It was a good week of mourning, and just kind of thinking, have I got the strength, the courage to get back up and carry on again when you've put so much effort, time into a project, and you don't get the result and it's not just for me and John, there's so many people relying on us, to deliver. And when we fell short, we've got to pick ourselves up in order to get, the momentum going again for this season and for us all to try again. But there was certainly, it was very hard. It was hard. But we're now firing and we're ready to go again for next season. And it's just, you just got to do positive, get there.
And we will learn from our mistakes, don't worry.
Yeah.
What mistakes were those?
You led yourself to that one. I need to do some training with it.
No, we will learn from our mistakes. I think part of the mistake was creating a rod for our own back and bigging ourselves up so much. A bit of humility really, and a bit of respect in other clubs. And I think that led from myself down to the managers, to the players. We thought we'd win every match, and you can't go out there. There are good teams in this league, and there are good players in this league. So every game's going to be hard, and we have to respect every team around us.
And I think for me,
keep talking, it'll work.
1, 2. I think.
Yeah, forget the playing budget. The mic budget needs investing.
But no, it's also realising as well when you go from a normal business that football is such a unique business, and it's the loyalty factor as well. Do you know when you do feel like right, and it's a cliche, isn't it? Like, you know, there's no loyalty in football, and then when it actually happens to you, you're like, you don't believe that people are so, you know,
disloyal. Well, you lead me nicely on to my next question, because of course you speak about loyalty there, and some would say a defining moment in the States campaign last term was the resignation of Steve Evans in late February. First of all, did you have any inclination whatsoever that he would resign?
Well, no, we went up to see him after the Coventry game, didn't we? And we sat as we do and chatted with the manager and their manager. Everything was very positive, where we were going, what we do next. But there was some body language that was a bit wrong. He sat there like this.
when you look back on the situation.
And so his arms were folded, and I don't know, didn't look us in the eye. So yeah, I know we didn't see it coming. We thought it was here to stay, and
we did everything that we could do. I mean, everybody at this football club went above and beyond, you know, the call of duty to, you know, we knew that Steve was a great manager and he's delivered before, even though he, you know, he hadn't delivered for us, but we certainly respected that. And so, but like John said at the time, no manager is bigger than a football club. So, you know, and I believe what goes around comes around.
Chairman, do you want to add to that? I thought you were for a second.
No, just, you know, you always want to wish people well, and so, you know, he's gone on to new ventures. And to be honest with you, you know, our new manager's, you know, stepped in. I think he will do the club real well and very good.
Just closing on the Steve Evans chapter, when did you get the first hint that he was about to go, or didn't you?
When he rang me up and said, Chairman, it's getting a bit much for me, I'm going to go and work out in China, I need to resign.
I should say that before that, about 5 minutes before that, because John and I work in different offices in Doncaster, and I'd received an email, just a very formal email from somebody at the football club who was panicking, as you would, and when I read the email I was like, oh, okay. And then I decided to drive the distance over to John's office from mine, and I just said, showed it to you. And then we rang him, and then that's what happened.
I think it was at about 3:30, wasn't it, as I recall? And that wasn't from me, the email, by the way, but I think it all happened about 3:30. We announced it about 6:30. From that moment on, where were your heads at?
When a manager resigns, I mean, they can't resign to go to another club. There's a bit of etiquette and everything there. But if they're having a bit of a life crisis and they're going to work in China or they're going somewhere else, then that's fine. But you know, our headset is obviously, you know, we've got to look at our team, look at where we are, and you know, and we've got to look at the league and look who's producing, who's putting a team together. And so we had targets, and if you remember that week, it was awful. Everyone was snowed in, so half the people we wanted to get and see, we couldn't meet up. And so it was like, some of the managers, it was a fate of God. The only reason they probably didn't get to the interview because we wanted to make it a quick process. You know, we were damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we left it a few weeks, get John Dempster a few weeks, and lost a few points, everyone would have been saying, well, why didn't you get someone in quickly who knew what they was doing? So we
Hindsight, isn't it, is a great thing.
So at the time we thought, let's get someone in this job who's doing this job already. And so we had a short list and we went through the short list, but what an awful week that was.
Let's talk about the process, because I think you appointed him within 24 hours, and then on the Wednesday, as I recall, asked for a press conference on the Thursday morning. As you said, treacherous weather. But talk to us about the process. What was in your mind straight away? Did you have a category where or a tick box, if you like, to use a cliche? I want this type of manager, X, Y, and Z. What was in the psyche when you were looking for a successor?
Well, for me, I wasn't going to go for the cheap option. The cheap, and this is no disrespect for managers that are out of work, because managers are always getting sacked. But for me, it was going for a manager that was already in our league, knew our players, and playing our game. And so my favourite was Flitcroft. He beat us twice. So, but he was an expensive option, because remember, we had to go to Swindon and say, can we buy your manager off you? So I wasn't, it was an expensive bill to get him to come here. And we got on with him. We didn't only interview Flitcroft, by the way, there was 4 other managers we interviewed. But we got on with him, and he was our favourite. And at the time, and I still do, I think it was a massive coup to get David to come from Swindon across to here. And he's a fantastic manager. The way he's interacting with the academy, the players that he's looking at now, I know he will take this club places.
What was the underlying reason, ultimately, do you think, for the failed promotion campaign?
I think it's very, very difficult when you're used to a certain format and you're used to a certain person, and then for somebody else to take over that, it's a hard. We were on such a trajectory. We'd had a stuttery start, if you remember, and then we were just coming into form. I wouldn't say we were at the peak consistency, but we were getting there compared to where we'd been, and I think that ultimately it's down to a combination of factors, really, isn't it? That you can't really pinpoint.
If you change a lead in midstream, it's always going to cause problems, isn't there? There's always they've got to adopt a new style, adopt a new way of being managed, and so there's always, it could work out fantastic, but there could always be problems. And as you see, one of our players has already gone across their side, so it's a case of, David did what he could with the squad that he had. But even if you don't know, Evans could have been here and we could have been a lot worse. So you don't know. You can't say it's the manager. Ultimately, it's a squad that go out there and play on that field. He still had the same players, and they've had a bad period. They've just had a good period. They're going through a bad period again.
Let's look ahead, and of course, new signings is usually the topic in the close season. How many players is David Flitcroft looking to bring in?
About 20.
John is probably about 2, but no.
I think we're realistic. We're going to keep the squad at around the 24 mark. David's got his eyes on about 7 players. Unfortunately, I can't go for the names because it's so sensitive at this time. I mean, we're up against a lot of League One clubs, so we are chasing good players, and hopefully we get a few of them over the line in the next couple of weeks.
And I think certainly the standard is a very, we're looking at very strong targets, aren't we? And it's a really, I don't want to rush it either. I want to make sure that we get the right players too, that that David wants to bring in. And I think last season recruitment was so speedy that almost you don't have time to consider what's going on. So I think David is a little bit more considered, and we'll see what comes in. But at the moment, there's some players that if I was going to tell you now, you'd be really, really excited. So we're not going to let you down. We're not going to do a cheap option or anything like that. We're definitely ready and raring again to go again.
If I can get a cheap option, I'm going to go for it.
Depends on meeting. I think some people call it good cop, bad cop.
To all the agents out there, no, it's not pheasant shooting season for John Radford, okay? So we're going to keep the prices right.
But equally, we want good quality, so...
From what you're suggesting on a serious note, it does hint at the fact that you're going to have to dip your hand in your pocket on transfer fees. Is that fair to surmise?
Well, we don't know, but we'll see what's happening. We're in negotiations at the moment. I mean, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Let's see what it comes out with. We're chasing some really nice players, so we'll see what happens.
I want to see your body language inside.
I'm sure if I didn't ask you, you'll get this question in the second half, but a lot of fans wanted to know about Alex McDonald. Could you bring us up to speed with any latest?
Yeah, darling, that's your call there.
Because the club have got an option on him.
Yeah, we've got an option on Alex, but I think I think from my perspective as a footballer, you want to feel appreciated, you want to feel, that the club, rather than just, for example, taking up an option, you might feel a bit like, oh right, okay, so but you've got to find an equal balance as well. Like John says, is that we have a strategy of what our players are on and a budget, and you can't, obviously all footballers and managers want to be paid fortunes, and so it's making them feel valued, but also, we have our limits. So, just negotiations are hard sometimes.
And you want to keep the dressing room quite evenly balanced. You don't want one player getting paid X amount of thousands a week and another player getting paid £300.
I think they all go in there saying, I'm on 20 million a week, what are you on? This is what happens in a dressing room, and the figures are often, but it might get in a player's head and they'll think, and in actual fact, like we've said to players before, hand on heart, you've got it wrong about where you think some players are, because it's just bravado with footballers in dressing rooms. So.
Let's move on from football then and get some quick updates from you. What's the latest on the proposed Hilton Hotel, which would be built if plans are accepted by the local council, adjacent to the Quarry Lane stand here?
I think we're just waiting for the planning's in. We're paying lots of bills at the moment for it, but there's not a brick being laid. We're waiting for planning to come through and being accepted. From what I heard, it's going to be very soon, very imminent, but I'm not holding my breath. Hopefully before the start of the season, planning will be grand.
But it can take up to 9 months, not longer.
Woburn Lane, things seem to be going well down there. What's the latest?
Well, a fantastic job. I just spoke to Steve Hymas, who's the director, who's in charge of that project. And he's told me 14th of September they'll be handing over the keys. The 3G or 4G pitch looks absolutely fantastic. We've been and walked on it, not played football on it. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to it being opened. 14th of September is a new agreed date. Pitches should look good, the place should look really fantastic, and I'm sure we'll have an open day on that. So we've got a set date for that one.
And an old chestnut is Bishop Street. What plans do you have for that, apart from knocking it down?
We do have some excellent plans, that have been drawn up, and beautiful. I won't mention the swim-up bar that because obviously we all know that is the sunny side of the stadium. So I often look across and think. But no, we have seriously got some really amazing architect plans now together for that. And if we were in League One again, that would give me more ammunition to go to the chairman and say, come on, let's get on with this, because ultimately we draw bigger crowds and things like that. So at the moment.
Well, I think when we only sell out the stadium one game a year, we can't justify opening another stand and paying the cost of bringing that. If it gets to a situation where the stadium's full every week, then yeah, that'll be built straight away. But it's a case of what the football club demands from its fans, and at the moment, this is the right size stadium for us.
But it just doesn't look right. That's my only thing. I'm big on my aesthetic. And I look across week after week and I'm like, please, can we do something with it?
Question then, hotels or Bishop Street?
Okay, Stakes fans will ask any question they wish in the second half, of course, but I have accepted one through via email from a supporter who can't make it tonight. And it's from David Welsh. She says, firstly, thank you, John and Carolyn, for all you have done and continue to do with all things Mansfield Town. The football club is a business, he says, and needs to be treated as and run as such. Can you answer why the emphasis is not put on loyal and hardcore supporters, but on new customers who are given better deals? I, that is him, refers to the price of season tickets opposed to the Quarry Lane membership scheme. This is the first time he says in a long while that I will not be renewing my ticket. Instead, I'll have to take up the option of a membership scheme and the added hassle of booking and collecting, and not necessarily being seated with my mate. So that's from David Welsh. What would your response be to David?
Well, I'm sorry, David, that you feel that you have to give your season ticket up. I mean, the Quarry Lane membership, works twofold. So there's advantages to having Quarry Lane membership is the fact that you get a half price ticket. You do have to buy a ticket before the game, so it has to be at least a day before the game, because we have to be able to police that and give numbers for that. You haven't got a guaranteed seat, so you've not got the same seat every game, so it's not exactly the same as having a season ticket. And the reason that deal was put out there was for me, and we discussed it as a board, but for me, to generate, I know we've got Q Block, but to generate atmosphere across there as well. And I can remember back in the days how well, I used to love the North Stand. That could be the new North.
We want the North Stand.
I'd love to, but we already know, sorry, Tina and Paul, we can't get that back, can we? No. There's a policing issue, so that's not on the immediate agenda. But any business, if you're going back to the business thing, you've got to look after your loyal customers. You have to encourage new customers, and to allow your 12 to 18-year-olds to be able to get in for half price for a 20 quid membership allows them that ability to get to 5 or 6 games, and then encourages them next year to go and get a season ticket. And it creates a bit more of a, should I say, younger atmosphere over there. I'm not banning anyone from there. I just want to try and create numbers over there, okay, and try and fill the stadium so that you can have Bishop Street sorted out.
Just while we're on the topic of tickets, some supporters, as you well know, are disgruntled by the fact that there was no early bird for season tickets. What was the thought process behind that?
That's a tough one. I think we looked at this year. I think we just had to catch our breath on last year's, the way season tickets went last year, and I probably am going to regret not an early bird happening this year. So, but please, don't hold the club to ransom on that. The club is there for you, and this year an early bird hasn't gone out. That doesn't mean to say that won't happen next year. Certainly having a season ticket is a lot better price for a seat than going paying every day, okay? And you've got your own seat and you know where you're sat. And we do give offers to season ticket holders. I think you got a couple of tickets to the races if you wanted that. So we will look after our season ticket holders, and it's about generating atmosphere and getting the fans down here and getting people who have not been here before to come and watch us play and see how good the stadium is and see how we support our club.
Very finally from me, what are your priorities now? What's at the top of the agenda?
Just for me, recruiting the best players that we can to get us promoted this next season, and it's really nice working with David. He's very transparent, very open, and very genuine person, and I truly believe that. He's got good connections, and I feel really strongly that we're going to get a fantastic balanced squad. He works to what he calls the matrix. I think we'll be swallowing the right pill at the end of the season. That means getting, that was a reference to the Matrix,
What's that called then?
where we win.
No, I think my plans and everything is the success of the academy. I'd like to see, and is David's going to put his team together, but with the new training ground open, they're going to be playing alongside the academy every day. I'd like to see a few of our kids get out there on that pitch. So I'd love that to happen. And whether that happens by default, because he's sometimes not managed at Prairie's one, so one of our kids has got more of an opportunity, I'd like to see that happen. Because we've got an academy that has won their league. It's not an easy league to win. 3 seasons on the trot. So we've got a fantastic academy. I'd like to see some of them players coming through.
Ladies and gentlemen, Radford. Quick 10 to 15 minute break now, ladies and gentlemen, after which time you can put any question you wish to John and Carolyn. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Before the second half resumes, just going to ask the representatives of the SSA to come to the front, because they're going to make a magnificent cheque presentation from the members of the SSA of £14,000. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? on the stage. This is there. This £40,000 donated by the SSA members is going towards new canapes, which will go on to the Quarry Lane end on the end of the stand there, and they'll protect the supporters who sit in the Quarry Lane stand next season from the bad weather. They'll be hanging just over the refreshment kiosk areas and keep all the rain out and all that type of thing. The Radfords do have a charity foundation called the Radford Foundation, and one of the great local sports people in our area, very proud to know her, very proud that she's from our town, Charlotte Henshaw, the Paralympian, will be given £1,000 for Tokyo 2020 for the Paralympics. Where are you, Charlotte? Come on up. Charlotte Henshaw. Charlotte, a well-known swimmer who's previously participated in Paralympic events, will be taking part in the Para-Canoe event for Team GB in Tokyo in 2020. Charlotte Henshaw, given £1,000 for sponsorship. Great to know that the community spirit is thriving at the Town Football Club and in our town, in our local area, because only very recently an unfortunate turn of events saw Michael Plant have his mobility scooter stolen in the Ladybrook area. Gary Hagan from Mansfield Mobility Centre in Town saw this, was made aware of this, and he very kindly gave Michael a replica of that scooter. So a massive hand for Gary wherever you are. There's Gary at the back. Gesture by Gary Hagan of giving Michael that new mobility scooter, and also that was seen and followed up by a supporter who only wishes to go by the name of Wilfred on Snagsnet, and he has donated Michael and his carer 2 free season tickets. He's paid for them for next season. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? Come on in, Michael, Karen, wherever you are. Karen, what do you think to that? Firstly, that gesture by Gary and also by Wilfred.
Absolutely fantastic. I can't thank them enough.
Bless you. Michael, what do you want to say?
To them,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Michael and Karen, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for that. Time is now pressing and the hours are few, so let's crack on with the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart will be coming around with a roving microphone, should it work. If not, we'll carry on. The show must go on, and there it goes again. Thank you for that. Right. Okay, so, hands up in the traditional fashion, and when the mic comes to you, if you'd stand up, and we can all see you. Rightio, who's going to ask the first question to the Radfords? Yeah, gentleman at the back, Stuart. Yeah, in the black and white shirt. What's your question to Mr. and Mrs. Radford? Okay.
Oh, this one's working.
Got your loud enough voice, possibly here. Can you hear?
Hang on 1 minute. We've only just begun.
The show.
Right, so
It
is a non.
Tat, you're loud enough normally.
I know, I've told him that. It's a non-footballing matter, really. I've supported the Stags for 55 years, been a season ticket holder since '69. I do get annoyed with overzealous stewards and lack of common sense. As a case in point, I'm treading on a doggy. As a case in point, we played Rochdale this year on the wettest day that we've had for a long time. There were over 3 inches of rain. It was pouring with rain and most folk thought the match wouldn't be on. I parked my car, I walked half a mile with my umbrella because I would have been absolutely soaked through. I was denied entry unless I handed over my umbrella. Now, admitted, I then looked at all the ground regulations and it said that golf umbrellas are not allowed. I did ring the club and I said, look, why don't you produce an umbrella at the right price that confirms with all the ground regulations? But when you are 67 years old and you get to the ground and you're treated like a criminal because you do not want to die of pneumonia and hypothermia because you want to watch your team and carry on watching them for years, could we have some common sense and could we have some products like an umbrella that is the right regulation and also at the right price? Just to finish off, you can see that I don't waste money. I'm still wearing my Stag's top from I don't know how many years ago. It's not worn out and I certainly am not paying good money to buy another one when this is okay.
Do you know when you walk 3 miles to get to the stadium? No, because I think you'd been upset if it took your golf umbrella off you and then tried to flog you another umbrella. But I agree with you totally. Common sense needs to be there. But it's not Mansfield Town Football Club that writes the stadium rules. So we have to abide by them. If we don't abide by them, we won't be allowed people to go and watch our team. So the rules are put in place, and the rules are put in place. Obviously, someone sat there, and someone's been to a stadium where everyone's walked in with a golf umbrella, and you can imagine, you won't be able to see in front of the man in front of you. That's my only defence I have with a golf umbrella thing, by the way. My common sense would be allowed in, but rules are there, and they're made there by people, hopefully, are sensible when they're looking at it and trying to make the right decisions. But I like the idea of selling you another golf umbrella when you're not golf umbrella that meets the required standards for football stadium, if there is such.
I think my lovely girls in the shop as well, and I'll be able to sell you a really nice new top as well while you go to.
Okay, we'll try the mic again, ladies and gentlemen, but if it fails, just shout as best you can with great projection and I'll repeat the question in summary. So who's next to? Yes, sir. In the jacket, Stuart, if you can get to him, and the charming blue shirt. What's your question, sir, to the Radfords?
Right. Could I first say that I'm very sorry that you had such a farcical meeting with the player and his agent. If you sign a striker called Trigger, we won't mind. Just don't sign one called Grandad. Could I also, before I put my question, thank you both for bringing so much positivity back to the club. Because for years and years, all we used to hear in the stands, leaving out the expletives, was Haslam, grumble, grumble. And those days are gone. Anyway, my question's about the youth setup. I think I'm going to start whining again. Years ago, about 20 years ago, I talked to a manager here, and he said we have great problems with the youth setup because the best local lads, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, Forest Derby, Notts County come forward, and we're left picking up the crumbs. Is that still the case, or do you think things are on the up?
I think we've all heard that.
Yeah, I think, there's no question that must be quite an old point, because we're now up there with Notts County. We're now, we're not at Derby level or whatever, but we've got a fantastic academy. We've got really passionate people involved with the academy who want the youth to come through. As was mentioned earlier, we've won the cup 3 times. We've won, and that's it. That's competing, not against little teams. That's competing against your big clubs, as aforementioned. So I think now with the setup that we've got the Brooksby link. We're also constantly working on our structure here as well. We've got the new training ground afoot, and we're just really, I think the youth, especially with David involved now, is going to be exciting to watch. And we've had Jack Thomas in my time, and it was great being able to shout one of our own. And now I think we're being able to put the infrastructure there to develop more players that make it through.
I agree with everything Carolyn said, and I think this season you'll see a few more youth come through, and hopefully they'll get the chance to come through. I mean, last season they weren't given a sniff, to be honest with you, because we went out and got players that were the best in this league, and so our youth, although they won the league for the last three times, they weren't given a chance. This season they'll be given a chance. We've got 40 people signed on. We've got 7 youth that are training with the first team, so there's a chance for them.
And I think the new training ground, I keep harping on about it, but it's going to be a great thing, because the first team and the youth team are going to be merged together for the first time ever. So they'll be training together, and we've got the infrastructure now to really develop talent and to be competitive as well. All footballers want to play on a great training pitch, don't they? The training ground is the key to a lot of them, because that's where they do all their work, that's where they develop, and the top pitch is fine here, and the John Fretwell Centre was all right for a bit, and then so now that we've got our own base, it's going to make things so much easier.
Next question, ladies and gentlemen. Next question. Yeah, gentleman in the blue, Stu, just behind you.
Yeah, what guarantees, Chairman, do we have that we don't go through the same lines when David does an Evans?
Just explain that if you would, sir.
I understand that, Steve-O.
Just for the purposes of the public.
Hopefully we've got him more contractual, so we got him tied down, so we do have him until the end of the season.
I think it's really hard with football contracts, in that sometimes you think they're not worth the paper they're written on. So you can, if you're a big person, somebody comes in for your manager, and if they offer the right price as well, we are a business, so we are gonna, we'd move on, but not actively. I like to think that David will be loyal to us, and I really genuinely believe that he's a loyal, good man, and will be leading us forward and get us brilliant results, which is ultimately what we need.
I think the problem we have with that, in answer to that question, is it's a HR problem. If you're in any business and one of your staff members comes to you and says, "But I can't cope, I've had problems, I'm going to go abroad or work abroad," and they resign, you can't not accept resignation. So that problem's always going to be there. So we can't do anything about that. There are things involved with it, there are things in place to try and stop that from happening, but yeah, that could happen. That could happen with any manager. As Carolyn says, it's, I mean, if you're talking about Steve Evans, I think for him, he saw his dream was to go and manage Peterborough, and he took the opportunity, which, we don't agree with in this room, but that's why he went and did. And David saw his dream to come here and manage here, so you've got to respect that. And David, this is he wants to make this work, so we'll hope he sticks to his word.
Next question, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep it over there if we can, just so Stuart doesn't burn out. No? Okay. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the salmon shirt.
My question is, what's the story on Kane Hemmings?
Yeah, I think we all got that. What's the story on Kane Hemmings? What's the latest?
So obviously he's come from Oxford, so we have to basically wait to see what Oxford say. But I think he did great for us last season. I think he was a very strong player. And when you look at the statistics, you know, he was up there. He's a good, solid, strong, you know, goal scorer. At the end of season dinner, I've never been out in Mansfield before, into one of the nightclubs before, but I did on this occasion. And I was, God,
Where's this going?
Anyway, it was you, the singer. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, right, stop there. No, seriously, carry on. Just don't mention me and the singer.
Okay, so after Steve and the singer persuaded me to go out in Mansfield, but I chatted to him, and I know it's sometimes the casual chats are really helpful, and you get a lot out of it, and he's definitely on the radar. So.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Anybody this side? Any more this side? No? Okay, over it goes. Just saw you first, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry, Stuart.
Make it run.
Stuart did a marathon a couple of years ago, you know, in London.
Not yet ago. I was just wondering, is there any chance of an updated club song? I think Mansfield Magic has been with us for 30 odd years, and the reference is a bit out of date. Have we got any singers in the squad?
No, I was with the singer, I'm not a singer.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think there was one, wasn't there, for the Wembley tour that year? You know, a little rap song. But yeah, I agree, because it's almost with black that I don't want to sing it, and we keep not wanting to, but that. Go on with it. Go on. I know, I just like, I love that song, and now I hate that song. So I think we've definitely got to come up with something new. Maybe, Steve-O, you need to come up with, do like a kind of poll.
Well, I thought Carolyn was going to make the top 10. So I've done my bit.
It didn't work though, so.
Okay, next question. Thank you for that. Okay, yeah, this gentleman over here, Stuart, in the t-shirt. Okay, what's your question for the Radfords?
What was your highlight of the season on the pitch, and what was your worst moment of the season on the pitch? And you're not allowed to choose, but you can inspire right away.
That, do you know my highlight was the Matt Salmon Trophy? We retained it with Beat Notts County when I came here. And I went away to Notts County, and what the weather was like. It was a sunny 1 minute, we were in a snowstorm, and I was just about to hand the trophy and say, well done to Mr. Hardy, and say, there you go. And we got a penalty in the dying second, in 96 minutes. Wow, what a day that was, because, you know, from one chair to another, he's a little bit smug, so.
That's enough.
Anyway, so it was nice not to hand that trophy over. Oh, I don't know, you can do the worst. I think the week.
I have to say the worst. Forest Green away, yeah, that was a bit of a low point. So it's a long way to Forest Green, even though we did get there quicker than most. But no, I'd probably say the final game of the season, because then I was just like, I'd prepared myself somewhat, and it kind of, but you still have that kind of hope, and halfway through the game we're all like, come on, because we can look at the results on our phone and see what's happening, keep going, and then it's like a stab in the, do you know, I think, so that was like, it was the nail in the coffin, wasn't it? I think a certain reporter a bit eloquently put it better, but you know, it's that was it, because it meant so much this season. But as I said before, gone. That's in football. It's each game to each game, and we're in a new season, and we all have to be so positive because every single person got to drive this campaign forward again. You pick yourself up, keep on fighting, and that's all we can do, and create a better squad. Because looking back, actually, there's certain people that weren't that good. So hindsight is a fine thing.
Okay, any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, got a couple more. Yeah, guy in the white shirt, Mick it is.
I just want to wonder when you're getting a monument of Sir Jack Lester as we enter the ground. Would that go down well?
That would be cruel to our neighbours, really. No, I mean, obviously you have rivalry, but you don't wish any team that sort of bad luck on them. No.
That's not what you said about Notts County,
Well, he said I'm not allowed to talk about Chesterfield.
There's a certain thing that footballers and managers do, which I've learned in my short, space of time in this position. And what I get when I get the kiss of death text, and it's like from somebody that actually think you don't wish me any luck, and this either say, good luck for today, hope you do really well. And I've since heard that they do it, it's a kiss of death text, because generally you don't do well in the game. How horrible is that? That's it. So now I think we need to send more every game. Let's get a text out.
Okay, I think it's Steve there in the blue shirt. Yeah.
We booked his flights, we booked his hotel. Can you give us any more details on the Portugal trip, please?
It's just Phil. It's a training ground. So it's a training ground that they're training at. Apparently, they allow about 200 fans to come and watch. So there's sort of a couple of games out that you can come and watch. And it'd be good if a few people go over and join the boys. But it's going to be when they take the training serious. Dave just wants them to put the hours in and the work in. But yes, there will be games that you can go and watch. I think the youth are playing a couple of clubs over there. So I think the events are coming out very shortly. I believe Tina and Paul might have their dates yet. I don't know. Do you? So hopefully Steve-O puts them out on the internet at some point.
I think they're still being confirmed, Paul, aren't they? Yeah, Paul's nodding at me. Okay, any more, ladies and gentlemen? Any more questions? Yeah, Alan.
Can I just ask, is there any plans to look at the badge by any chance? Because I know a lot of people thinking it might be time to sort of either go back to retro or look at updating it.
I've seen this a lot of times on social media, and I think that the old badge is beautiful. I really do. Really, from an aesthetic point of view, really, I really think it looks really nice. And I kind of understand the connotations that come with the current badge, which it's understandable. I think it's really about getting that balance of maybe do you go back in time, do you stick with what you've got? It's not being.
I don't want to buy a new shirt, darling.
I think that it's definitely something that we need to look at in terms of what it means, of what the badge means to people.
I think with what's happened at Leeds just lately with their badge and you can sort.
We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that sort of thing. If we were to go and change back to the old badge, there'd be lots of people that don't want that. If you tell us and you put a campaign to get rid of this badge and replace it, then yes, we'll look at it. But we're not getting masses and masses of complaints about it. Okay, I'm not here. No one's come in and say get rid of this badge. I want rid of it. It's a badge that's been there for a few years now, and if you want it changing, then please let us know and we'll change it. But I certainly don't think we should create a new badge. Go back to the old badge would be the only way.
Then we've got one more, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next couple of parts of the night. If we can can get through them with the microphones. Now this gentleman here. Stand up if you would. Stand up if you would, sir.
I can tell he's going to be a tough one. He's stood up as well.
That's always it.
I'm holding him like.
Has there been much interest in our transfer list of players, and are you confident in getting them all off the wage bill?
I can sense. You know, certain players were brought in. You have to back your manager. That's what we did. We didn't want to give any excuses, and also the transfer. When you're signing a player, you don't know all the variables that are going to happen throughout the season. Should a player get injured? He's played brilliantly before. Then something happens. We can't. Hindsight, as I always keep saying, is a great thing, and we're trying to be a lot more proactive this season in making sure that we sign the best players. But I think sorry, John,
there's a bit of a bidding war on a few of them. So there are some of them that should earn the club some money. So whatever money they bring in will go straight back into the club's coffers. I guarantee you that. But there is a bidding war on a couple of them, yeah.
Any more, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next couple of parts of the night? Okay, for now, ladies and gentlemen, one more question. Keith. And I think I'll take that microphone off you, Stuart, afterwards, if you please. Keith, what's the last question of the night? Make it a good one.
Is there any chance of an evening with on a Monday night again?
Well, maybe some microphones and I'll consider it.
Are these brand new? These are brand new. I think that's half the issue. It must be, there's always interference, isn't there? So.
Now, on a serious note, there are plans to. That one works better for me. There are plans to bring it back. Perhaps not as frequent as we had them in previous years, but there are plans to bring them back for next season. We're looking to do one a month in the Sandy Paint Bar. So.
I think it's a brilliant thing. I mean, I always say about Steve-O, our media mogul, and his amazing team as well behind it that all work with him, and it gives that interaction between everybody, because we are one unit and it's a cliche, one team going forward, but you need to know your players, you want to know their quirks, you want to know what they sound like, and what their drive is, because you can kind of see a little bit more when it's a natural situation like this. And I think it's brilliant. So please bring them back.
Well,
I know you have to work on it later, but
ladies and gentlemen, the Radfords. So we're heading towards the final furlong, as you would say with your horses. This is the chance to win some prizes. So what will happen is this: the chairman will answer as many potluck questions as he can in 60 seconds. Be warned, he got 14 last time. And one lucky supporter will then do likewise. If the chairman wins, they go back in the club shop. If you win, you can take them home. And here are the prizes. There's three. We've got an away shirt from last season in extra large, so should be suitable for most of you here. And we've got Ricky Miller's shirt from last season, and then we've got a mystery star prize. Thank you very much. Right, who's coming up to face the chairman? 60 seconds quiz. First hand up will come up. First hand. Yes, so you, sir. You're just too late there. Come on up, give him a big hand. Okay, good to see you. What's your name? Where do you come from?
Peter.
It's not Peter Hucklebridge, is it?
Certainly is.
Do you remember teaching me history?
Yes, I do.
Say nothing and sit over there. Yes, sir. Please, sit on the stool if you would, because the chairman's going first.
Set up, taking his teacher off.
I thought I recognised you. Spent enough time in detention with you. Okay, Chairman, let's get 60 seconds on the clock. 14 you've got to beat. That's the highest score. Here we go, 60 seconds, time starts now. What is 10 times 100? 1,000. Correct. How many minutes are there in 3/4 of an hour?
45.
Correct. What planet is named after the god of love?
Venus.
Correct. The equator divides the world into how many hemispheres? Correct, no help please. Which actress played the title role in the 1990 film Pretty Woman?
Yeah, Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, correct. Who was Elton John's Candle in the Wind originally written about?
Marilyn Monroe.
Correct. Which country does Usain Bolt represent in athletics?
Jamaica.
Correct. How many valves or keys does a trumpet have? 3. No, I can't give you. How is the number 5 written in Roman numerals?
B.
Correct. What type of vegetable is a moish tube?
P.
I'll give you that. What colour is the bullseye on a standard dartboard?
Red.
Correct. What was Muhammad Ali's birth name?
Cassius Clay.
Correct. How many events are there in the decathlon?
10.
Correct. According to the old proverb, that's good. How many did he get? 12. 12. 12. Like it, Chairman. Okay. Just swap places with Mr. Hucklebridge. I'm not saying this is a fix, but all these questions are on history. Just don't answer them. No.
I never got your project on the Somme, did I?
You've got the mic for a very short time. Okay. Let's have another 60 seconds on the clock. I wish you well, sir. You've got to beat 12 in your time. Starts now. According to the old proverb, all roads lead to which capital city? Correct. How many sides has an octagon?
8.
Correct. Who directed and starred in the film Braveheart?
Mel Gibson.
Correct. A popular drinking song from the 1920s is Show Me the Way to Go. Correct. On which street did Sherlock Holmes live?
Baker Street.
Correct. According to the proverb, a new broom sweeps what?
3.
Correct. Apart from Earth, which planet in our solar system begins with a vowel?
Uranus.
Uranus, I'll give you that, careful. Which popular hot drink is an anagram of the word eat?
T.
I'll give it you, tea.
Thank you very much.
You're against the clock. The word knowledgeable begins with which letter?
A.
Correct. By land area, what is the largest country in the world?
China.
Russia. How many kings of England have been called Henry?
That's one, eh?
8 is correct. Who painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel?
Michelangelo.
Leonardo da Vinci. What is the capital of Australia?
Canberra.
Correct. And how many did you get? 11. Do you know what? I think I'm right in saying the painter of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel was Michelangelo. Yeah. So you got 12. And 12 means it's a tiebreaker, and I've not done a tiebreaker. So, I do know them off the top of my head, so I'm going to come up with tiebreaking now, very quickly. And here and now, here's the question. Okay, here we go. I only know it because one of our cameramen who's not here tonight, he's in Florida, is a massive Titanic, has a massive Titanic knowledge, and he always asks me this one. What year did the Titanic sink? Now just hold it there. Okay. Chairman, what are you going for? They didn't have one call insurance. Fantastic. 1912.
I would also say 1912.
Is the correct answer. I'll give you another one. Okay. Read this again. Here's the tiebreaker question coming up. Are you ready for it? Hope so. Okay. Here is the tiebreaker question coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to come very shortly indeed. Okay. How many countries are there in Great Britain? Not a trick question.
4.
4. Chairman? 3. 3's the answer. The chairman's wrong. Sorry, sir. We were left to give it you, but it was England, Wales, and Scotland. And the Northern Ireland is in the United Kingdom, not in Great Britain. Oh, good to see you anyway. God bless you. Take a seat. Will you give him a prize? Yeah, he needs it. Okay, what do you want? Do you want the... Chairman's giving him the prize. That's very nice of him, isn't it? So, what do you want? Do you want the Ricky Miller shirt? Do you want the... Ricky Miller shirt? Okay, let's get that for you. Give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There's Ricky Miller's shirt. Good to see you. Okay. Last part of the night, ladies and gentlemen, and earlier, before, well, when you all arrived, the younger supporters wrote their name on a bit of paper, put them into this wonderful tin here. Carolyn's going to pull a name out, and whoever that is, just come up on the stage. Carolyn will ask you a question. It could be about her person, or her family, or anything related to the Radfords, and you've got one chance to get it. If not, you'll have to go back down and somebody else will come up. Okay, final part of the night. Joe or Carolyn, just pull one name out the tin. Okay, what's that name there that we've got? Alfie, Roy, Alfie, come on, give Alfie a big hand. Come on up, young man. Okay, just stand next to me. Okay, Chairman. Carolyn, have the microphone. What's your question for Alfie?
Alfie.
What's he doing?
Okay. It's going to be a hold. It's going to be about our family. You can't! Do you know this? Do you want it about stags? Okay. Right, okay. Okay. So here we are.
I wish we had an order queue.
Okay, so the question is going to be this. Who was my favourite player this season?
Think about it, you've only got one go. Sorry, we've got to be very strict with the rules here, it's in the Constitution. Okay, Alfie.
You get 3 attempts.
Okay, the boss has overruled me.
Danny Rose? First attempt!
Well done, Alfie. Well done. Right, what do you want? There's 2 to go for. Do you want the extra large shirt or do you want the Mystery Star Prize? He's gone for the Mystery Star Prize! Reel it in. Oh no, stop, sorry. Right, okay. Here we go. Show the audience what you've got. No, can't afford that. Okay, you've got some socks here, we've got a calendar, that'll last you a good 7 months. We've got some more socks, and plenty of socks there. We've got a DVD from the goals of the season 2015-16, that completely forgettable season. And there's plenty more for you to enjoy. Well done, Alfie, well done. Well, that was harder than the rehearsal, I'll tell you that. Oh, I'm giving the secrets away now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your great atmosphere which you've generated in here tonight. Like one of the gentlemen said earlier, real positivity around the club, stemming from the top, from the Radfords. Great to see so many of you again. And let's leave the chairman and the chief executive with the very final word. The Radfords, everybody.
Now, I'll repeat what I said earlier, probably my speech later. You know, we go forward together, and next season, we're going to try again, and we'll keep trying. We'll get there. Thank you for your support.
I sing that at night to him.
Careful, we're not past the water shed yet.
Once a week.
Look at that clock there, it's wrong.
I just thank you all completely, but for helping drive this club forward. It's not just us. Everybody is involved in this journey. Without everybody driving it forward and supporting the players, everything week in, week out, we have an amazing family here, and I'm obsessed with it. And you know, it's fantastic, and you know, this season is going to be our season, definitely. voters, Steve-O, thank you so much for being a wonderful media guru. And also thank you for evening and to all of our staff and directors and everybody that puts in such huge amounts of effort to everything, and you know, we will be repaid. This season will be repaid, and the season after.
Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Radford. I extend my thanks most sincerely to Dan behind the camera. And Tom over here, and Ryan on the camera and the VT. Chris and Jeanette Holloway, more fantastic photos from them last season. Thank you for them. Stuart Eggleshaw, who's omnipresent in the media department. Thank you, Stuart. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending. I hope to see you soon. But for now, from me and the Radfords, have a great summer. Good night, God bless.